G'day, Craig Warrack here with another one of my vlogs which still remain unnamed, well, beyond Warrack, which is kinda cool. It's just like Madonna, except, you know, credible. So if you do have any ideas for a name for my vlog, please do let me know in the comments. They're down there, I guess, or if they're over to the side and down the way if you're using the app or something like that. I have had the name Breaking the Mold suggested, and I do quite like that. Let me know what you think. In the vlog today, I'm going to be showing you some of the progress that I've been making my Doctor Doom Throne Room Latveria diorama. That's just spiralling out of control, but I'm beginning to feel quite confident about being able to do it. So I'll show you some of the processes that I've been through. I'm also going to be showing you how to make interchangeable hands. That's sign language for interchangeable hands. On figures, and I'll be walking you through that. And I've got quite a cool thing to look at today, and it's along the lines of third-party products. And those are when someone apart from the toy company makes a product that fits in with a line that the toy company makes. If you're a Transformers collector, you've probably seen third-party Transformers. That's when some unofficial manufacturer or fan produces mass-produced figures that fit in with the Transformers line. It's a bit of a shady area as far as copyright is concerned, and I think basically the toy companies would say actually it's blatantly against the law as far as that's concerned, but you know, fans support it a lot, and they have to be very careful in naming the toys. They can't call like Ratchet, they have to call him Hero Field Medic, or I don't know, something like that. Anyway, back to Marvel Legends, which is really kind of my area. You've probably heard me talk about the Fwoosh.com. That's where I did my Secret Santa projects in previous years. There's a member on the Fwoosh called Strange Fate, and he has created 3D designs of additional items to add on to Marvel characters. I'll show you them in a minute. So basically he's created the 3D designs and he's put them on a site called Shapeways, and that's a 3D printing company. So what you do is you go to the Shapeways site, I assume, I'll link it down below, and you order them and they will 3D print them and send them to you. So Strange Fate has done the design, Shapeways are doing the printing, and you're getting the toy. So let's take a look at what they've done. And the third party product relates to this guy here. This is the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Superior Spider-Man. You should all be familiar with him. He's not what's special here. What's special here comes in the Shapeways box, like I was talking about. And what I've had 3D printed is some SpiderBots. I'll just show you how they come. And here is the SpiderBot. This has been 3D printed by Shapeways after being designed by Strange Fate. It is unpainted, so if you're interested you will have to do that yourself. And my opinion is that the design is excellent. The plastic itself, being 3D printed, is a little bit porous, but it's really not that big an issue. What it does allow it to do is absorb paint much better. And I've done a very quick paint job on some of the SpiderBots. You get 4 per order, 2 of the open legs, 2 of the closed legs. And there's a bit of a size comparison of how they compare to the figure itself. So they are in a good scale. They're probably much bigger than they should be, but I think they're a good size. They are unarticulated, but that's not a huge problem, I would think. There's not much posing you would need to be doing with these guys. So like I said, you can go onto Shapeways and order these from Strange Fate's Designs, and I'll link that below. But what I was more interested in, these were almost a bit of an extra. I also ordered another design, and it was of this. This is the Superior Spider-Man's additional legs for his backpack. And I'm going to have to do some assembling here. They also come with the gauntlets for his hands. Now what I've heard is that the gauntlets don't quite fit his hands because Strange Fate did the design without having the figure in hand. But we'll take a look at that in a minute. I'm going to try and customize this guy a bit with these legs. This is one of the legs as it comes out. You see it's disassembled and it has ball and socket, and it's very easy. You just snap it together. and this final little plug, and that slots into the backpack. This is the first time I'm doing this, so you'll see it's fairly straightforward. There we go. Isn't that amazing? Really awesome as well. It's the correct design from the comic. It's not the Iron Spider legs. Really, really cool. So let me do the others. And there we have all 4 of the legs done and attached to the backpack. Now something that I do notice is that some of the ball joints are looser than others. Some are very tight and posable, some kind of flop about. I take it that's just to do with the manufacturing process. A little bit of super glue and some working would tighten that up really well. Something you will have to commit yourself to with this is that if you want to attach it to the actual figure's back, you are going to have to do a little bit of customizing. A drop of super glue would attach that, no problem. What you might want to do is go check a comic and make sure which way up does his backpack go. I'll check that out. And it turns out it's with the sort of square bit upwards. So I'm just going to put a dab of super glue on that and glue it on. And there we have the Superior Spider-Man with his additional legs. He's looking absolutely great, I have to say. Like I said, some of the joints are a little looser than others. And we'll probably need some super glue, just a little bit, and then working around just to tighten that up. But these ones are all fantastic. Loving it, loving it. Add a couple of SpiderBots. Look at that. Kind of get the feeling this is the figure that we should have got, but it's still not quite complete because I have to put the bracers on. Now these are not painted, so again you're going to have to do some work there. The legs come in the colour they're supposed to be. You could probably still do some touching up with a bit of a metallic paint job or something, but they're looking fantastic. I'm going to try and attach these to his arm and give you a look at what they look like unpainted. Okay, that's his bracers just super glued on there. You'll notice that they don't sit quite flush with his arm. Like I said, the guy designed them without actually seeing the figure, which is pretty impressive in the first place. So you could get in with your Dremel, fix them a bit better, use some sculpting material, but I'm just going to paint them up and see what they look like as is. And to do that, I'm just going to take off his spider legs again, make it a bit easier to hold. And I'm using, in case there's anyone who's going to ask silly questions, I'm using Games Workshop Citadel paint and a paintbrush from Games Workshop. Here we go. And there we have him, with his bracers painted in a shoddy fashion, I must admit, and with his spider legs on. So there we have the new Superior Spider-Man with his extra legs, his bracers, and his SpiderBots. Got a couple of albino ones in the background waiting painting. But all in all, what are my opinions on this? I think this is amazing and such an interesting new thing to happen for Marvel action figure collectors. I don't know if the 3D printing market is going to suddenly take off with more things like this. Perhaps a new wheelchair for Professor Xavier. Imagine getting that hover chair finally. If there's anyone out there with 3D design experience, please go make these things. But you know, bear in mind, copyright, all that sort of stuff. If you're wondering anything more about it, please go check out the description below this video for the links. You'll find out how much it is, how much shipping is, how quickly you can get it, all that sort of thing. I would really recommend this. It's just so interesting. It's like a do-it-yourself custom. I love it so much. Wonderful. Thanks Strange Fate and thanks Shapeways. Thanks to both. Now let's see what other shite I've been up to recently. Alright, here's an update on how I'm getting on with my Dr. Doom diorama. Made quite a bit of progress, as you can see. Got Captain America sitting in for Dr. Doom at the moment. Take him out. So I got, I don't know if you guys know them, they're called, I think they're pronounced Schleich, Schleich. I don't know. They make animals, so because I wanted that sort of unicorn and lion thing, I got some of the animals, cut them up, cut their legs apart, and reassembled them so they're in the right sort of pose I'm looking for. Buried them in some of this foam concrete, and then I'm adding in tentacles coming up. I started sculpting some of the foam just with a knife, with a pencil, just try to get some sort of tentacle writhing effects going on there, more debris. And the chair itself, I'm starting to carve that out, trying to make it a sort of a blend between sort of, I don't know, rock, you know, sort of the raw rock at the back, around to the sort of chiselled area at the front, and then in the middle the chair, kind of techno sort of look, trying to balance that finger sticking in the side, trying to balance that sort of Doctor Doom being sort of magical and technological at the same time. And got more tentacles coming out, and it's there you go, it can be moved about. I've not started on the main diorama area, kind of penciled out what I'm wanting to happen, but that's where I'm at the moment. Using this foam was actually very difficult. Everything I do is a learning experience with it. But I think it's going okay. I did, you know, when I first started it just looked pretty shit, to be honest. But Glenn came round to visit, and I showed it to him, and he really liked the sort of animals sticking out the side. So it was just that bit of encouragement that I needed to keep on going. Oh yeah, I couldn't find a lion, so I couldn't find a lion that looked good. They all look very placid, so I got a chimera sort of thing. They're not cheap, and I've been trying to do some texture and whatever. Anyway, that's where I'm at just now with this. Okay, this is hopefully a quick tutorial in response to a comment left on my vlog by Santi Ramirez. He asked me, how do you make interchangeable hands? He wants to do it for his Carnage figure. So I'm going to be using Captain America here. On the left, I've got him pretty much as he comes out of the box. On the right, I've got one that I've customized slightly. He's going to be my Doctor Doom custom, hopefully. You can see I've already started grinding away the star. But the biggest change I've made to him will become apparent in a moment. What Santi wants to do is to essentially get this so that you can pull it out. So straight out of the box, that isn't possible, but with a little bit of customizing, it'll pop out and pop back in. And with a little bit of customizing, you can start adding different hands. So our first step on giving Captain America straight out the box interchangeable hands is to remove the hands themselves. If you try and pull these out with as much force as possible, chances are you will just break it. So what we're going to do is we're going to soften up the plastic by applying heat and then just pull so it's flexible and remove the hand. I'm using a hairdryer here and I'm going to be applying the heat for about 1 minute. Okay, let's see if that's enough. There we go. So the heat allowed the plastic to expand, which made it not fit quite as tight, and it was able to be removed. So there you can see we have a socket that this joint goes into. And it's important to understand this joint that we've come out with. Not all peg and sockets are the same, but for these ones, I just want to illustrate something. So I've drawn up this. This is a quick sketch of Captain America, as you can see here, down to his hand. And by removing the joint, I'm just going to illustrate what we've got here. His wrist essentially has a socket in it. and his wrist has a peg that goes into the socket. It's all very straightforward. So you've got that kind of shape in there, and because of the sort of mushroom shape of it, it can't be pulled out once it's in. It's going in like that. It's very, well, it's slightly easier to get in, but to come out it gets blocked. So we have to stop that from being blocked. We want to change this shape of the peg more into this. It's very tempting to just put balls on it, and but there we are. That's what we're going to be aiming for. So you may also want to widen the socket a bit, but we're going to be focusing mostly on changing the shape of this. And to do that, we're going to be removing those bits that I've coloured in black. Okay. So get your Dremel. I just used this head here, no idea what it's called. And you see, we're going to be changing that shape into more of a circle. Hard to focus here, but we'll give it a shot. Alright. Okay, so I think you can see that I have changed that very sort of flat-headed shape to have a more of a rounded underside. And hopefully when we push it in, should go in as easily as it would in the factory, but the real test is in the coming out. There we go. So there was a little bit of a resistance there. I could probably grind that down a little further, but we're dealing with such a small sort of amount of plastic here that too much could just endanger the whole thing and snap it. So just be careful. If you feel it's a little, use your best judgment. If you think it's a little bit too tight, then do take off more, widen the socket. I would recommend only doing one. Just work on one. If you do too much, it may just become too loose and just rattle about and fall off. But yeah, there we go. So that's him. Got his interchangeable hands. So I hope that's of some help, Santi. Thanks for asking. I've posted that in the Dio structure group, and really positive response, 160 odd likes. So there's no pressure or anything, Craig, just keep going. But this is where we're at now. So I've kind of finished up the major part of the throne itself. You saw me I had already done most of that side. I've added the tentacle going round the chimera there. Added in some more work. I've glued some sand across the base. And I've also done more to the unicorn side. I've added in the tentacles and just trimmed that up a bit. I'll go into the floor, what I've done here. Oh, that's not quite dry. So the floor, I was really struggling with what kind of pattern to go with, and I've gone with this sort of just really random sort of crazy paving sort of slab thing, and I've added in some texture to that. What I did was I stenciled out the paving onto this, and so I've placed it over there and done repeating patterns, you know, so it all locks together. It looks random, but it is a locking together repeating pattern. Saved me some effort. That was okay, quite tiresome. A new exercise in tedium doing that. We'll see what it looks like when it's painted. I think it looks pretty rubbish at the moment, but hopefully paint will save it. Then I've got this sort of raised bit that goes behind the throne. It's got a couple of holes in it at the moment. I'll show you that there. So yeah, the stairs going up to the platform sort of behind the throne. I wanted to add some depth. So I've got that. I did originally build this out of the yellow foam that you might have saw me talking about before, this stuff. But it really is too soft. Yeah, I thought it would be good to have, you know, just sort of behind the scenes. But as I want to make it modular, I guess there isn't going to be a behind the scenes. So this was just too soft. When it came to carving it, it just kind of crumbled. It's more like Oasis for floristry or something. It could be used for maybe filling in those gaps you see there, but beyond that I'm going to have to actually use the more solid green foam. So I had to rework some of that, so I'm still working on it. And still got the back wall and a couple of pillars and more floor and a lot of detailing to do. So far I've got, I think, the sort of rubble look down, but I haven't really brought in the technological side of it. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'll update my diorama before this vlog goes live, and I was losing a bit of confidence in it, to be honest, again, so I decided to paint it, and I think I'm loving it. Is that a bit big-headed? Perhaps. I made the statues a gold. Well, I actually sprayed them black and then gold to get some depth. When I spray painted them gold, they looked incredibly flat and toy-like, funnily enough. I of course removed them from the foam, because if you spray the foam, the propellant in the aerosol will dissolve it. So I removed them first and then sprayed them and returned them, and then just did several different coats of black and grey and red on the throne. Added in some sand for the textures. Did the same over here. And I started to build up the back. Again, I've got some sort of, I wanted to suggest the tech sort of thing, so I've got a bit of a grating there, but kind of embedded in the rock. And I still have to do a lot of work on everything outside of the actual throne sort of area itself. It's very plain looking, and the wall up the back still needs some work. Obviously it's a plain bit of crap at the moment. I'll do that, and I've got a couple of pillars to do and some other touch-ups, and then of course the customs to go with it. So I'm kind of excited about where this is going at the moment, and it's receiving good feedback in the Diastructure group, which I'm really grateful for. So we'll see how that goes. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like it. In fact, go ahead, do that now. I'll wait, like this. Alright, thanks very much. And put your comments below. Any questions, I'll do my best to help you. And I guess I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra!